So does creatine hurt your kidneys and cause kidney failure? It's a common question among gym rats. What's the evidence for this? So the very first reference that I've seen on creatine potentially causing kidney damage goes back to the late 1990s, where a 25-year-old guy, he's in soccer camp, he's taking a recommended amount of creatine, and he develops kidney problems. And the researchers who posted this report said that there was strong circumstantial evidence that creatine was responsible for the deterioration in kidney function in this individual. However, other researchers have also looked into this and noted that this person already had pre-existing kidney problems, and he was also taking a medication for 5 years prior to this called cyclosporin, which is known to have kidney problem issues. Now, if we jump ahead a few more years, we find this paper with a very plainly stated title: creatine supplementation does not impair kidney function in people with type 2 diabetes. So diabetes is known to cause kidney impairment. In this investigation, people were given 5 grams of creatine for 3 months. They also underwent a strength training and cardio conditioning program, and as the title states, there were no problems with kidney function in these individuals. But that's people with diabetes. What about athletes? That brings us to this paper involving creatine supplementation in football players. Small study, 10 football players. They're taking between 5 and 20 grams of creatine for up to 6 years. They compare them to people who were not taking creatine. They do before and after blood tests, and they find that there were no significant problems with kidneys or liver in these football players. They go on to say no detrimental effects from creatine supplementation on kidneys or liver. And then if we switch gears and we look at this paper from the International Society of Sports Nutrition, common questions and misconceptions about creatine supplementation. What does the evidence really show? They state that, quote, in healthy individuals, there appear to be no adverse effects from consuming the recommended dose of creatine supplements on kidney function at all. And further down in that paper, they also state more than 20 years of research has demonstrated no adverse effects from the recommended dosage of creatine on kidney health. Now, having said that, few caveats here. Number one, if you have kidney problems or you have one kidney, absolutely, I think it's best to stay away from creatine. Number two, what's the recommended dose? So you've probably heard about the loading phase, where you take 20 grams for the very first week and then taper off and do what's called the maintenance phase. Forget that loading phase. You don't need to do the loading phase. We've known since the 1990s you don't need to do it. So stick with 3 to 5 grams a day and you'll have just as much creatine in your muscles after, say, 1 month, and then if you did the loading phase for a week. So loading phase not necessary. I'd also point out that you make creatine. You make about 1 to 2 grams of creatine every single day, and you get about roughly 1 to 2 grams from the food you eat, assuming you're an omnivore and you're eating some meat and chicken and fish and poultry and stuff like that. I do think the evidence is settled here. Creatine does not cause kidney damage.